What's up, my Ned Riggers? Here's the dealio. As most of you know, I recently purchased a house, but what you didn't know is that that house has access to a private lake. That's right, this lake behind me, yeah, it's private. It is now mine. Okay, maybe not mine, it's this entire community's. This lake does have a name, but not only is the name lame, I also want to protect my privacy a little bit, so this is going to be called Mule Lake from here on out. That's right, M-U-L-E-L-A-K-E. Mule Lake. Now the lake is frozen, but it's not like super thick. So today I wanted to not only talk about safety and checking ice, but I also wanted to get out there and just kind of ease out, just kind of get a gauge on what the lake looks like. And then maybe if it's safe enough, I'm gonna drop the transducer in the water to kind of check depths and potentially, hopefully I'll see a few fish. Now I'm not gonna really fish a whole lot today because again, I don't wanna be risking it too much. I do wanna talk about safety concerns because safety is always the #1 with ice fishing, but I also wanted to just kind of show you the lake, the fact that I have my own lake, Mule Lake. Okay, let's talk safety on the water. This ice is so thin right here. Hold on, let me get closer. So I've only been ice fishing for a couple years, so I'm not gonna claim to be an expert by any means, but there are a few key tools that every angler should invest in before starting to ice fish. And those are, #1, a SPUD bar. This thing is absolutely handy. Let me show you how it works.
Like I said, it's really thin right here next to bank. As you can see, I'm busting through a little bit, but I'm wearing the muck boots, we're good. I'm just gonna ease my way out there. So essentially what a SPUD bar is, it's a device used to check the thickness of the ice. So as you can see, I just went through right there. And now I've got a hole, and I can obviously gauge how thick that is. Now I can tell you right now that that's probably about 2.5, 3 inches thick. And because of that, let me go ahead and overlay a chart that kind of tells you a general guideline of how thick ice should be to be considered safe. Yeah, I'd say that's probably about 3 inches, maybe 3 1/4. Not exactly super safe.
Okay, so that ice is about 3 inches thick. And some anglers will tell you, oh, once it's 2 inches, it's safe. But here's the one thing that you always have to remember when it comes to ice fishing. Not all ice is created equally. Most of the diagrams on the web say that you really want 4 inches of ice. I think those are very conservative. They want you to be obviously extra safe. I will say that there's probably ice out there that's safe at 2 inches. I'm not one to risk those sorts of things. Like I said, I've only been doing this a couple years. I'm from Kansas. I am totally out of my comfort zone. I'm always gonna err on the side of play it safe, son. And I would advise that you do the exact same thing. It is more important to return home in good shape after a day of fishing than it is to go out there on thin ice to try to catch some fish. But when I say that not all ice is created equally, essentially what I mean is that every lake is a little different and all water is a little bit different. Here's the dealio. Sometimes there's current under the water. Sometimes a lake is 500 feet deep. Sometimes it's only 10 feet deep. Things can be very different on each body of water. The point is that 3 inches of ice on one lake is not the same as 3 inches of ice on the other. So just because your buddy's catching fish on Jim Bob Lake doesn't mean you can catch fish on Johnny Boy Lake. I just made those up, I don't know. A good, hard, clear ice that's 2 inches thick might be plenty safe, but if you've had weather that's in the 35, 40 range and you've got 2 inches of ice, it's probably a little cloudy, it's kind of mushy, it's probably not safe. And that is kind of the situation we have right here. It's been like 38 all day. We've had even a little bit of rain. This is not a place that I want to spend a ton of time. I'm gonna ease out there, kind of show you the lake. I'm safe in the shallows. I'm not gonna go out there super deep. And if all of a sudden I fall through, I actually have another thing that I'd like to show you with regards to being safe out there. Ice picks, my friends, ice picks. Essentially what these are is you can throw them over your neck, you can throw them through your sleeves, whatever you want to do. They basically are a way of getting yourself out if you fall through. Now in here, underneath this plastic is basically a point right there, just a metal point. So essentially if you fall through, then you can pick yourself out and pull yourself up. I don't ever want to have to use these, but every single angler should own them. And on top of that, they're super cheap. So don't be a cheapskate and not buy them. This should be the second or first thing that you purchase. SPUD bar and these absolute staples. The next thing that all anglers should own if they're going ice fishing is some kind of cleat, some kind of spikes that you put on the bottom of your shoes to get traction. Why? Because if you're out there on slippery ice, you will slip. And if you bonk your head and get a concussion, that sucks. Don't do that. These ones are just like, I don't even remember the brand, but you just clamp them over your shoe and then it gives you so much more grip out there. Trust me, I've been only ice fishing for a couple years, but these are game changers. And on top of that, they will keep you safe out there. A lot of you might be laughing, but I'm telling you what, that ice is a son of a gun.
As you can see, you just kind of put it over your boot. Again, you can get different types. These kind of work well for me. I'll link something in the description so you guys can take a look.
So really, those are the top 3 things I would say you need to purchase before ever even buying an ice fishing rod or bucket or whatever. In addition, I would just say always make sure that you're wearing super warm clothes. Today, like I said, it's only like 38, so I'm pretty comfortable in this. You obviously always want to protect your extremities. A good hat, such as this go outside hat, some gloves, good warm boots or socks, or both? You get the point. You probably learned this at a young age. Wear warm clothes in cold weather and you will feel better outside. You know what's cool though? If you are not subscribed yet and you want to subscribe, I am going to be breaking down this lake so much. I'm so excited to learn a new lake. So if you're interested in learning how to fish a new lake, learning how to break down a new lake, whether it's ice fishing or open water, that's exactly what we're going to do here at Mule Lake. Okay, let's walk out there on the ice. Let's go.
As you can see, the last couple days I've been out here hitting this thing with a spud. So today I'm confident we can at least walk out on it a little bit. I wouldn't be spending a lot of time out here, but as you can see, we're pretty good. I mean, I think we technically could go out there and fish it. I just really want to err on the safety side. I'm not trying to be a story in the newspaper. One thing that you'll actually need to know about this lake is it's creek fed. So I have no idea if there's fish in here, but because it's creek fed, I'm pretty confident there will be fish out here naturally, like actually native fish. But the thing with creek fed is there's certain spots on this lake that obviously have current running beneath them. And what that does is it makes it thinner ice in those areas. Let's take a look with the transducer how deep it is right here. Okay, I punched like a little hole right there. We'll be good. So we're working with about 7 foot right here, and we're only about 20 feet from bank. I don't see any fish, but really what I'm gonna be looking for is marks off the bottom or suspended marks, and that will tell me that there are in fact fish. I'll pop a few more holes with the spud, and then we'll look around a little bit more, but again, safety first today. See right here, it's about 8 foot. Good to see that we've only walked this far off the bank, which is about maybe 10 yards, about 30 feet, and we're working with 8 foot. Okay, I'm gonna put it back in this hole because I swore I saw a mark. Yeah, there's a fish down there. Yeah, I think there's one suspended, only 5 foot down. Yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much time out here, but I definitely saw a fish, or at least I thought I did. I think we've given this enough of a shot. Who knows? Scoop it out with your hand like a man. Yeah, we're working with 10 foot. I only had to walk a couple more feet. I got 10 feet of water. I swear there might be a fish on the bottom. It looks like it's just sitting there down there. I can't tell if it's a fish or what. All I want to do is validate that there are in fact fish here. Looks like there might be just a little bit of vegetation on the bottom and a fish just kind of hovering right over the top. I got something coming up to take a look at it. That's 1000% a couple fish. What they are, I have no way of knowing. My guess is they're little perch. I just remembered. I don't have to be using this plastic. I've got some spikes. Okay, I've got a spike on there now. I'm thinking that ought to do the trick. Got him. Yes. Okay. Well, now we know that not only am I the yellow perch master, but here on Mule Lake, that's going to be our first ever fish on Mule Lake. What it took was dropping it down there. Once it got close to the bottom, I saw him raising, so I pulled it away from him real fast. How funny is that? The first fish I've ever caught on this Mule Lake is an absolute dink yellow perch. That's just honestly so fitting for my channel. Well, now we know. I knew it was perch dinking with me that whole time. I tell you what, I've had my fill. One little yellow perch is good enough for me. This spike goes down for my little fishies to eat because now these are my pets.
Okay, so we accomplished everything today that we were hoping to accomplish. 1, I talked about safety precautions for ice fishing. I thought that was an important subject, so I'm glad I shared that. 2, I determined that there are in fact fish here. And 3, I actually caught a fish. Yes, it was an absolute dink yellow perch, but if you've been following along on my ice fishing journeys for very long, you know that that's kind of my specialty. Regardless, I hope you have a great day. Make sure to stay tuned because guess what? This lake right here, I'm gonna break this puppy down and I'm gonna catch something a lot bigger than that, but you gotta stay tuned for it. I'm rambling. Have a good night. We'll catch you next time.